Welcome to Say Less Projects. We believe in the power of shared stories to inspire action and possibility and to bring hope to people who need it most. Through storytelling and purposeful action, we promote mental health awareness and support efforts to prevent suicide. You'll hear from a wide range of guests, runners, creators, leaders, and everyday people, sharing what they have lived, what they have learned, and what helped them keep going. The truth is, none of this is meant to be carried alone. If you feel stuck, overwhelmed, or tired, you are not alone. This is the art of doing something about it. Welcome to the art of doing something about it. We're glad that you're tuned in, and we're looking forward today to talking to my friend Michael Rosson, who actually has been a part of Say Less Projects from the very beginning. The first year I started Say Less Projects in 2024 of May, I asked a small group of people to run with me from Dallas to Austin, and Michael was one of the first people to say less. So Michael, excited to have you here. Glad that you're on the podcast, one of our first ones. So man, we'd love to hear you just talk about your beginning journey with Say Less. Like when I first asked you to do it, what ran through your mind?
Yeah, it's good to be here and good to be back with another Say Less run. I'm so stoked. We were just talking. It was a couple years ago. We got going in on this like idea that you hit me up with, and first things I was like went through my mind. I was like, "Man, this is crazy." Like I'm so excited on it. I was like so stoked, and I just was thinking as like I got invited to do something like this and to like have a voice for like mental health awareness. We had a strong purpose, and it just felt like everything was like aligned in those moments to say yes to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, there was like this nervousness that I was like, I've never done anything like this before. Really didn't know what to expect. There was just all around excitement and just like ready to see like what this is gonna like entail and where it's gonna lead to.
Yeah. I just thought about something because I remember I was meeting Chelsea and you were there. It was a coffee shop, and I think this was last year. Yeah, it was like the middle of last year, and you were like, hey, we got to plan something next year. And at the time, I had no idea we were going to do the speed project, but here we are today getting ready in less than almost 30 days out from doing the speed project. And so we're going to get into the speed project today and your involvement in that, but we're all runners, and we use running, especially here with Say Less, as like a vehicle to just show like how you can keep going and get through things. And we're all runners. But in one sentence or two sentences, who would you say that you are outside of running?
Outside of running, I put some like thought into this question. I was like, there's so much to say, and there's so much like I don't always like want to tie myself to. Like, we have our work, we have so many things that define us, but I think when it came down to it, it's like how I wanted to describe myself was like a teammate and a friend. And, I think that kind of encompasses like what the ethos I try to like live my life by.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree with you fully. And then what about like, what is your relationship with running right now? And I love what you just said, because again, I think we both have this same belief. Like we run, but that's not our identity. Like we're so many other components. But what is your relationship with running right now?
Yeah, it's a good one, actually. I feel like it's pretty healthy, but I'm a long time runner. I've been running since high school, taking many breaks, but like in the last 3 to 4 years, I've found like a new sense of drive in the sport and joy in the sport. And it's really brought me closer to a lot of new friends, a lot of new people, and a lot of new experiences. And it's been something that's really enriched my life, and that's kind of where I'm at with running right now.
I love that. And one word, what would you use to describe what being a part of this next project, the Speed Project, TSP, what was one word that came to your mind when I asked you to do this?
Yeah, the word that came to mind was actually like joy. Like okay. I can't like explain like how much I'm looking forward to this. Like there's a lot of unknowns, but like I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of looking forward to like the challenges it's going to bring. And this is like out of the ordinary type stuff, and that gets me excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And to give people context, the Speed Project has been going on for years. It's actually something that I've wanted to do even before we started Say Less, when I first got it into running. I thought it was something really cool. And basically, long story short, it's about 340 or so miles. You're running from the Santa Monica Pier to the Las Vegas sign, to give just a little bit of context of how crazy this endeavor is. But what made you say yes? I mean, I know you were aware of it too, but what made you say yes when I asked you to do this one? I mean, you already did Dallas to Austin, so you've already done something long distance and you've proven to yourself you could do that. But what stood out about the speed project that made you want to do this one?
Besides just like being like a very compelling like experience, I just said yes. Like I saw the text come through and I just like instantly knew. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, and this is like something I want to do. I don't even remember hesitating when I first saw the invite come through. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
And then I think it's partially because of the teams, like, in that first session, like year one project, I can relate to the mission. I relate to like the people like I'm in like around, and like we all have this like common drive to like, whether it's like just like seeing what our bodies can do on the run, but also like spreading like mental health awareness. Like it's just something I knew I can get behind and can support like wholeheartedly. And that's like sometimes hard to find.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, because that was the next question, is like, what does mental health mean to you personally?
You know, it's easy to feel like isolated in like our world and environment, and like mental health and like say less. It's always been a team that's like reminded me that we don't have to like trek through this alone.
Mm.
It's like a huge difference I see when I go run a solo race or like something like this where we're a team in a relay working towards a common goal. And it's just such a strong reminder to me that like I do have like my friends on my right and left, or following me on a bicycle to make sure like no one gets hurt at night on the runs and things like that. Like we're in this together, and that inspires me, and it ties back further. One time in my life, like I felt alone, and like knowing that like these people got my back for this is like awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to mental health, like in your running journey, how has running and like mental health, how have you seen it improve your mental health? And like, what's your relationship with like running tied towards mental health?
Running was, I mentioned earlier that I had like breaks in my running like career. In my late 20s, I was like injured, and I had multiple doctors tell me like I wouldn't be active again. I wouldn't be able to kind of do the things I love, like outside and being like physically mobile. And that was a low point of like, for a long time. That lasted 5 to 6 years as I like went through a process of like recovering and trying to get like my strength back more or less. And, during those times, I had some doctors tell me like I wouldn't be able to do this ever again. And I had other people who sat there on the other side of the fence and said, you can keep going. Like you can keep trying. Like we can see a way out of this, but it's like, it's going to take time. And it did. And running was when I picked it back up those like few years ago, it was one of the first times I was able to like truly experience like movement again. And it's become like a very constant source of joy in my life because of that.
Absolutely. And mental health, thankfully we live in a day where mental health awareness is definitely like, I feel like it's compared to growing up, I feel like I hear a lot more about mental health and the importance of it. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that that's the case. What's something that maybe like for you personally that you wish people knew more about mental health and that subject?
It kind of ties back to what I was saying earlier, but there is like help out there. You just got to find your team, find the people who will support you. I'm probably going to say this again before this like interview is over, but like we don't have to go at it alone. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it feels when you're in those low points, like you do feel so isolated, and that it's debilitating and it's hard. And, find the people that'll fight for you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I think it's a big reason why, like, the speed project is something that you can do by yourself. They have multiple versions. Now, first of all, I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't do 340 miles by
Damn,
myself. So I'm
bro.
not going to say that I could do that, but there is like people do it that way.
Yeah.
And there's a process to applying for this and doing this. But to your point, like one of the big things for me is doing it with you and doing it with the others. And like, I wouldn't want to take this journey without others. And I love what you just said, because for me, like with mental health, the whole point is being able to do it with community, with people. And there's no way I'd be sitting in front of you. And I think you would agree in your own life that without the people who've told us, hey, keep going, like even as simple phrases that can help somebody like make
That's
that
so true.
decision to get up that next day and continue championing life. So I'm really glad you said that. Back to the speed project, because that's our focus today. What are you most nervous about?
All right, kind of confession. I like haven't gotten nervous yet.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I
It's
love the
like
honesty.
it's literally all excitement.
Okay.
It's literally like I know that's kind of cheesy to say, but like I'm here for this ride, and I know part of that goes because I feel confident in who we've surrounded ourselves with and like who our team is. I know we can overcome obstacles that are going to be like tossed at us during this like trip, whether it's like getting lost or like unknown terrain or feeling confused or tired. Like I know we got support, and that just kind of gets me more excited than nervous.
Yeah. Well, if you're okay, what are you most excited about?
All of it.
Yeah.
I know that's like a cop out answer, but
Yeah.
I really am. Like I've been thinking about, running at night or like running in the desert or like just kind of being a support crew and making sure people are staying like hydrated or riding the bike behind. I think that like that whole experience, like it's hard to really pick one thing out for me right now. Maybe like ask me at the end, and maybe like some moments will like really stick out. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
We'll have to circle back.
yeah. But you can see the smile on my face. Like I can't wait.
Yeah.
Really.
I love that. When it gets hard out there, because we know it will, like we're excited, and it's easy to be excited when you're arrested and you're
Yeah.
not in the desert or in the middle of the night, it's cold. Like what do you plan to tell yourself? What's going to be the thing that you like really hold on to while you're out there when it's hard and you're in the middle of the night or the heat in the desert and you're like by yourself running?
Yeah. Part of that inspiration or like motivation is definitely going to come from like saying things like, there's teammates like rooting for me. There's a team like not relying on me, but like, we're part of a whole. We're like a cog, and like we all got to do our part. So I try to keep it very positive in the mental game, and just being like, like one step at a time. We all know it, but like keep going. Like we all say it, but it is so helpful sometimes to just like that mentality of all it takes is like a couple more steps. And
Yeah, I have to tell a story. So when we did year one, talking about like getting hard, year one, if you remember at the end, we were about 20 miles out. We were running from Dallas to Austin. No idea what we were doing. I mean, I still can't believe we pulled it off the first year. But I remember we were at a gas station and everyone was down bad. Like no one wanted to run. And you were already out there running. And I remember I was frustrated. I stepped out of the van and I was in the parking lot at that gas station, and you and I think it was Sam Kuntz pulled up because he had fallen off his bike. Shout out to Sam Kuntz. But I remember my strategy was like, all right, let's try to use someone who's fresh, and then I'll hop on the bike. We'll keep going or whatever. And I just remember telling you like, hey man, do you mind running like a little more? And I'm going to follow you on the bike. And I just remember you saying like, you meant it. And it was powerful. And you were just like, I was actually hoping that I could keep going. Like I could keep running. And then I remember like we were going and your long hair was just flowing and it was like, it was nighttime. And I remember everyone in the van and all of us, we were watching you, and it was just like, that was when you were coined like the gazelle. It was just like you were flying through the night. And that was huge. That's what guys do. So I'm really hoping that I get to see that.
I hope to bring the same energy, bro.
desert.
I hope to bring the same
We're
energy.
2 years older, but I think we can do it. Who would you say you're running for?
Yeah, good question. A lot of my races or runs, I've definitely had like people in mind, whether it be like a partner or like my dad who passed. Like running has been outlets for things that are hard or difficult. This year has actually kind of felt like my mantra is kind of like to run for myself a little bit more this year and really just like celebrate like the victory of like my movement and everything. And so I honestly am selfishly going to say I am like running this for me outside of the whole
that.
of Say Less, right? Like, because at the end of the day, like we do have like a mission of like mental health awareness and like everything else that we do. But like on a personal level, yeah, I'm kind of looking inward to like pump myself up this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that quote, like, you can't give what you don't have. And I think when it comes to mental health, so often it's in suicide prevention. It's those subjects where you can want to help people so much, but if you don't help yourself first, if you're not able to function properly, you can't help others. Like the same thing as the analogy of like being in an airplane, and if you need to put the mask on first before you try to help someone else. So I think it's really cool. I remember when you submitted your application and you put that you were running for yourself, and I love that answer. We'll close up, but is there anything else that you'd like to say about mental health, suicide prevention, to anyone who's supporting you in your journey?
Yeah, I think I'll just say like tune in and support however you can and want to.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, even just like saying like go get it on Instagram is like, it's still inspiring to me. It still helps us like feel like excited about this. And I think I'm going to like tie it back to something what I kind of said earlier. I think like my like leaving remark would be like, find the people who support you and like cheer them on as much as they cheer you on. It can make all the difference.
I love that.
Yeah.
And before we close, I just want to acknowledge you, publicly, and just say thank you for saying less. Thank you for being a role model of someone who's willing to step out. None of us are perfect. We're not sitting here acting like we've got all of our stuff put together, but I do want to say thank you for saying less. Thank you for representing this subject of mental health and everything you said that's important about community and being a friend. Like, you've modeled it towards me since the day I met you. You've been there for me. You've been part of our running community, and you've been a good friend. So thank you for being a part of Say Less Projects, and thank you for being a part of the Speed Project team. I really appreciate it.
And thank you for having me on this
Absolutely.
journey. I love it.
So we appreciate you guys. And like Michael said, stay tuned in. Follow us at Say Less Projects on Instagram. You can watch us on our YouTube channel, and just cheer for this team. They're all doing this for the purpose of championing mental health, suicide prevention. So make sure you like this, subscribe, and stay focused, stay tuned, and keep going.